the meeting to order. Roll call.
Mr. Wright?
Here.
Mr. Lopez?
Present.
Mrs. Hawkins? Here. And Mr. Salcido?
Here. Please join me with for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If you please stand for the moment of silence. Thank you. All right. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. I'm going to start on preliminary items. We have a motion to move to adopt the June agenda. Second. Any discussion?
Mr. Wright?
Yes.
Mr. Lopez?
Yes.
Mrs. Hawkins?
Yes.
Mr. Salcido?
Yes. All right, minutes from prior meetings, we need approval to accept the minutes for May 7th, the 20th of 2019 as presented.
So moved.
My second.
Any discussion?
Mr. Wright?
Yes.
Mr. Lopez?
Yes.
Mrs. Hawkins?
Yes.
Mr. Salcido?
Yes. All righty, so we're moving right along, recognition. No public comment. All right, moving on to your reports and presentations. Invent team presentation.
Let the light on, sir.
What is that?
Oh, I know.
Okay. Good evening, Superintendent Dr. Beebe and Honorable School Board members. Today we're going to be talking to you about our Cash Grant Union High School, Lemelson MIT Invent Team. As you may remember, we presented to you at the beginning of the year when we received the grant, and as we continue this journey, we would like to update you on our progress as we go to Boston and present the same presentation at MIT in less than 2 weeks. So we're really excited to share our progress and where we've come since then. So let me go through introductions. So hi, my name is Marilyn D'Souza. I am the administrative lead for the Cash Grant Union High School, Lemelson MIT Invent Team.
Hi, my name is Matthew D'Souza. I am lead of sustainability.
I am Amberly Goswick. I am co-technical lead. Hi, my name is Genevieve Hayes. I am the communications lead. I'm Madison Confer. Okay. So some conditions that we had to strive in our community was low income, high poverty. So on the average yearly income for Casa Grande residents is $21,000, but the average U.S. income is $28,000. So this means that when we were reaching out to businesses to give us donations, many were unable to do so because they were looking out for their own financial prosperity. And many individuals were unable to give us donations as well because they were looking out for their own families, which is understandable because you're not trying to bankrupt them. So that was a challenge when trying to raise our funds. Arizona is the 46th state in education. This doesn't mean that Arizona is full of incompetent individuals, of course not. It just means that our community doesn't see education as a priority. So we were trying our best to, when delivering our project, we tried our best to spin our education in a more positive light. Give Arizona the positive image, the positive academic image that it doesn't really have right now. So also, from Casa Grande, we're in a small town, that's known, there's good things and bad things about it. So our school values sports a lot. I personally, as I was reaching out to people to gain interest in our project, it was hard to have people understand what a milestone this is for students of an academic nature, because many of them were like, oh, if you're not sports, then I really don't see how why I'm using my valuable time on this. So it was definitely a challenge to get a lot of people interested and a lot of people to see what of a big deal this project is, because we're kids from a small town. Not a lot of people understand and know what Casa Grande is, the kind of culture that we have. We're not in the news a lot, you know. There's a lot of revolutionary things happening here, but it's not well known. And so we were trying to give Casa Grande the good image that it needs. So we also, so Casa Grande Union High School received a school rank D last year. So it was underfunded for our invent team. But we learned to deal with these situations. With the materials that we couldn't purchase on our own out of pocket money, we had to gather things around the engineering shop, the biotechnology shop, and we made do. But it was definitely a challenge to try and make our milestones as fast as we could. So we are all also a part of the STEM Academy, Engineering and Biotechnology. That itself is also underfunded, so it was hard to use the materials that we had because we didn't have a lot. But that also means that we were taught to make this project a success. So even though many of these were negative qualities, we learned to strive with them, and we learned to try and change the stereotype. We tried to change the image that we had, so that we are showing people what the new generation is capable of.
When we had gathered together in August, the team had thought of many problems facing the world, and the recent car fire in California had caught our attention, damaging 1,500 buildings and 121,000 acres of land. The flying embers were the main cause of these fires. Embers are small pieces of burning wood that hot to other objects and cause them to catch on fire. And one way to stop these fires is for firemen to triage surrounding area where the fire is predicted to go. So even so, large amounts of resources and manpower is being used. And to put out a fire, 1 gallon of water is needed to cover 3 acres of land. The car fire needed approximately 40,333 gallons of water. Most often, the trees surrounding the home catch on fire, creating flying embers. And the flying embers land onto the roofs of houses. And that is the main reason of spreading the fire. And that is the problem we are trying to solve. That is why we made the Fire Defense Initiative, the FDI. It is an automated system used in place of firemen's time triaging homes.
So when we came up with this problem, we didn't have a lot of insight about what this would take and what machinery that we would need. So we reached out to our local fire station, and they were very helpful in making us understand the situations that they have faced as they faced these fires. Some of them had went to California and battled some of these fires they were facing in their drought area. And so they gave us wonderful insight about what we would need to incorporate into our project and what we could change to help better the firefighters and help better the situation that it is placed in. We went through a lot of possible inventions. It changed from what it is now to what it was then. We went through a lot of modifications and a lot of different ideas to the one that we came and are presenting to you right now. As Amberlyn did mention, there was a lot of the things with the embers. We wanted to make sure that we address that issue because embers are one of the main reasons that fires catch on fire and why homeowners are at a loss financially and emotionally. We did the public displays. If you guys did attend the Casa Grande Steam Fair, we presented there and we did a public presentation to all the attendees. And we also got more insight from the fire station, so it was a really wonderful public demonstration to reach out to our community. We did, as I said, mentioned again, a lot of prototypes, and we did 3 prototypes, but a lot more planning that went in between those things. And we worked a lot with the foam. I know Genevieve mentioned that we did a lot with our labs, and we used the materials, and we applied our knowledge from the biotech lab and from the engineering class, and came up with this invention and these prototypes and these foam testings. So it was a very, very informational, very informative.
So as you can see here, on your left is the CAD model that we had sent to MIT when we had created the proposal. And on your right is our first prototype CAD. This is the first one that we actually did build, more or less, but it in turn actually just failed because we had forgotten the simple rule of fluid dynamics, which is air and water like to go out the easiest way out. So it ended up backfeeding and blowing off the canisters. And eventually, armed with that new knowledge that we had learned from Prototype 1, we had moved on into creating Prototype 2. Prototype 2 had succeeded gratefully, but the problem was it was stuck to a wall because we were using an air compressor to power it. That was a simple fix. We just got an air tank and connected the air tank into our liquid tank, and it worked beautifully, as shown in our next slide. So, on your left, that is the CAD model of Prototype 3. Prototype 3 is a mobile unit capable of spraying down a wall, not a really big one, a small wall, but it does work as a proof of concept, and it was a great milestone for our team. On your right is an electric schematic for what we were planning on doing to make it autonomous. So there's current sensors like heat, infrared, and distance module sensors. So you can tell by like where to be placed and how much it covers and where the house is and where to spray and stuff like that. And then there's also a few motors to help with the movement and spraying it down at the house so it can move side to side, up and down.
So I know Matthew mentioned like the one that blew up, and it was a lot of fun to watch, and it was very informative, very informational, and it was definitely a learning process. So we've come a lot farther from when we had that prototype to now. So.
And Prototype 3 is a great milestone for us, but however, it's not what we want. We want to go a bit further with this, and the next slide will. So, currently, our prototype fits our goals. It has fulfilled the goals that we have set for it. However, it is not what we want the final product to be. So, customer input and review, we're still looking towards that. The firefighter input, as you've already heard, they've told us how we could make the device better, what modifications could be needed. Testing, we have done many tests over our periods of times. And of course, one of our selling points for this device was that it was self-contained. So it was basically meaning it's a small unit. You don't need like a massive fire truck, just a small unit. It can cover down it can cover your side of a house. The longevity of its materials, this thing can last quite a while, but like any good tool, it does need regular maintenance, like maybe clearing out the tank, like refilling it, maybe decompressing the tank and then refilling it. Simple maintenance stuff. And then this is actually quite a resource efficient device because instead of spending like many hours and manpower like triaging homes, homeowners can simply buy this device, and then the second they hear like, oh, a fire's coming, I'll simply just take this device, move it towards the direction of my house where the fire is coming at, and it will stay there stationary until it detects the fire. Once it detects the fire, it'll spray down the house by itself. No need for any other input from a human being, and if it gets destroyed, well, no lives lost in the process.
So I know what you're all wondering. You're like, wow. So one of the wows of this project, like the hard work, dedication that everyone's put in, is the amount of money is spent. We received a grant in October, $10,000 to be able to use to make this project come real. And even before we received the grant, we spent hours on creating a proposal to receive that grant. So once we got it, we didn't think we'd be using all of it, and we are. We're using so much money, and as you can see, this is just a breakdown of the funds that have been used and how we've gathered more money, because the $10,000 is not enough to cover the airfare that we'll be using to go to Boston, the money for the hotels and such, and we're still running low on materials to actually build the device with. Like, we just had a breakdown session of how we can get more money to be able to build more of our project before we go to Boston. So that's one of the big factors of this project, is the financial support that we've been getting and receiving from it.
And the 10 grand that we did get, many people thought like, oh, maybe you could use that 10 grand to cover your airfare. Lemelson MIT has specifically stated, none of the $10,000 that we give you can be used for airfare, travel, or any other expense like that. Not to mention, we were so scrapped for funds that we literally started using plastic drink cups in place of beakers. That's how scrapped for money we were.
Welcome to the world.
So some future goals that we are trying to achieve is having our invention patented. So we're talking about the theory, we're talking about the benefits of this project, but there's really no good it does to anyone if it's not actually out there. So while we're at MIT, it gives us the opportunity to meet businessmen, entrepreneurs, and people who actually could give us the possibility of having our invention patented. So if all goes well at MIT, you'll soon see the FDI on shelves and put to use. So when we have our invention patented, we all thought about making a business out of this, a manufacturing business perhaps, or make all of us having our hands in the creation of our projects. So we all just kind of had a dream of somehow having the lasting impact of the future. So so our invention is made, yes, and we did prototypes of it, but we haven't actually put it into practical use yet. We were hoping to actually go to California and put our invention into a real life situation with the fires that are still going on there. That hasn't happened yet because our financial crisis had us limited to opportunities like that. But hopefully, if all goes well at MIT, if a lot of people are interested about our project, then we're able to do that, and we're able to see how far we've actually come. So along with making this a real world possibility, a real world option of the solution, we're trying to get our audience's input. We're trying to see if you would actually use something like this, or if this would actually help you. So with the research of this project, I have found, sadly, that many people in California, that was our focus for right now, even though there's wildfire issues everywhere, it's a possibility everywhere. Many people have said and have put on record that their evacuation time, they were given 5 minutes. They were told to evacuate within 5 minutes. And in that 5 minutes, everything's going in their head, like, what do I take, what do I need, what's important, and they usually just leave everything left behind in their home, because materials are materials, if you wouldn't grab your favorite shirt and leave your kid behind, and and so with our project, we're hoping to eliminate that kind of last minute decision, obviously you wouldn't totally debate, I hope not, over a shirt and your child, but it's more of like, will I be homeless after the fire is done? Or will my kids be starving because I no longer have a kitchen to cook in, or because we'll have to live in our car, And so we're trying to see if the audience would actually use this, or maybe they can give input as like, no, this is actually what we need protected in our house, and things like that. And also the second audience member that we're targeting are firemen. As Amerlin was saying, the current solution to wild forest fires, the current solution to forest fires is having firemen triage houses, but that uses a lot of resources and manpower. So we're trying to see if our project actually eliminates that issue, or it just does nothing at all.
And we just wanted to add that when we're reaching out to the audiences, no invention is perfect. So we always want to meet the consumer that is going to end up using it, because they've been through this, or if they're in that situation, would they use this? Is this something that is helpful? Is it easy to transport and use? And we want to implement that as a real world solution because we intended it for that solution, and we want to make sure that it does its job. And we always want to test and make sure that it works, because we don't want to promise something. And like Genevieve said, people have attested to the fact that their houses have been lost, and it's emotional and financial. So we want to save them that heartbreak and that loss. And that goes into what we want to do further on.
So as communications lead, even though I did have some help from my team members, we were looking at potential benefactors. So all of the businesses included here helped us financially in some way. We had a fundraiser night at Barrows and In-N-Out, so sorry if you missed it, but hopefully there'll be more in the future. They have really good food there, so it's worth it. And Green Manufacturing gave us a generous check towards our project. And I know that we also had a fundraiser at Lasting Nutrition by Little Caesars, actually, and it was very, very successful. It actually brought in more money than the In-N-Out and Barrows combined, so we haven't been to Lasting Nutrition. And yes, and Fry's also. So Fry's was our first donation. So they weren't able to just flat out hand us a check, but they were able to give us their products. So we were able to get food from Fry's, supplies from Fry's, and we were able to sell them at the fundraiser. So as communications lead, it was my job to get money either from product checks, products, or any type of fundraiser.
And we would like to add that we wouldn't have been able to go through this journey or do any of this if our advisor, Mr. Morris, had not received the award and applied for that and had gotten us into this process. So we've only learned and come through this journey because our advisor took the extra step of applying and getting through and receiving the award that he got. So we're very thankful to him.
Yes, and also our Casa Grande Union High School district, who was our main motivator throughout this to constantly encourage achieving academically. So thank you all.
Thank you so much. We'd like to conclude our presentation, and thank you so much for listening to us and listening to us at the beginning as we continued this journey. So,
I had a question for you. So could you give us a little how big is your group, the invent group? How many people consist of the team?
So 7 people are going to be heading to MIT in less than 2 weeks, and we are all going to present to the MIT team.
So is there more involved in the invent?
There's 2 more people.
So there's total 9?
7. And
Seven.
then we
Seven
have
are
2.
who?
Yeah, we have 7 team members and 2 advisors.
2 advisors.
Yes, our financial lead and our co-technical lead was not able to join us today, but you'll see more of them. They've been pretty hands-on, so. Yes.
So how much does one of those units cost to build?
I believe it costs, the current prototype 3 cost us about, I believe, $500 to make prototype 3, but we had done a variety of testing. The Class A foam was pretty expensive.
So we bought it in bulk, so
Yeah.
we're aiming to use 3% concentration of the Class A foam. So it was very expensive to purchase because we got it in bulk, but then if we're using this much of it, then hopefully if it's on the market, it won't cost that much.
Yeah, but then we decided we need to upgrade this by using like high pressure fittings and high pressure tanks because we were wanting to increase its range and how much you could spray down a surface. So we've actually had to up the cost of it. So right now it costs about maybe $1,500, but that's pretty relatively cheap if it gives you a chance at saving your home.
And especially because it can be customized, so because every house is different and very unique, if it's like a small cottage, then it can use a smaller device. It doesn't need to have as much concentrate, and so it can be individualized. So a homeowner with a cottage doesn't need to pay as much as a homeowner with like a mansion or something like that. So.
I think one thing too to take home is that it's the actual outcome of what your invention is going to be is probably not the value that you're going to get. I think what we heard is yes, you're going through learning. I mean, economics is one of them, you know, strategizing. I mean, you're learning a lot of different skills, and I mean, making mistakes is progress. I mean, you're learning, you're getting better, and so I think I commend you guys for doing all that. It's not so much what you guys are going to make at the end, because I think it's whatever you do, you're going to do great. But it's to hear that you're using all your qualities because that's what you usually do. Because I'm in manufacturing, so I appreciate prototypes and cost and delivery dates. So one word I would advise to you is remember root cause. What was the cause that you guys are trying to do? I mean, so I'll answer your question on that. So the people in California, if they would have done maintenance, they wouldn't have so many ambers. You know what I mean? And so that's a root cause of the problem right there. So those are the things that you need. You'll probably come back around and go, no, a lot of people. That's what we need right there. But very good job on presenting what you have. Thank you.
Great job.
Great job.
Thank you so much for your time.
Next up is item B, Superintendent's Report.
Well, President Salcedo, members of the governing board, it's always my pleasure to brag a little bit about our district and some of the things that have gone on in the last month, so since our last meeting. First of all, I want to say a big congratulations to Vista Grande's Mr. Jimenez and his students who competed in the congressional art competition last month. His students, he had 4 students, one who finished runner-up, second runner-up, and third runner-up. But one of his students, Kennedy Escalante, won the grand prize for her artwork, and her artwork is now going to be displayed in the U.S. Capitol in Washington, D.C. from this June till June of 2020. So quite an honor, and I just learned from talking to Mr. Jimenez that her and her family are going to get brought out to DC to be able to see her artwork hanging. So big deal for them. I want to say a big congratulations to Mr. French and the combined Vista Grande and Cactus Junior High combined choirs, the Vista Grande Concert Choir, Jazz Band, and Symphonic Band for an outstanding performance in their final concert that they put on last month. A big congratulations to Mrs. Quintana and the CG Union Dance Program for an outstanding dance show called Danger Zone. We had a chance to see it. It was the outstanding show last month, and the seniors also were honored, and those are tough times when seniors get honored in their last time they perform. Congratulations to CG Union Seth Keaton, who signed a scholarship to play football at Clark University in Ireland next year. So good for him. And then I want to say a big congratulations to all the 8th graders from Cactus, Casa Grande, and Balago Middle Schools on promoting last month. I had a really unique opportunity. Dr. Gonzalez and her governing board invited me to come with them to all 3 8th grade promotions and to be on the stage to be a part of that. And so that was really neat to see our future and to watch them as they promoted and they're coming our way. A big congratulations to Mr. Munoz and the CG Union seniors who started a new tradition this year by participating in the first annual senior walk. So we had 10 seniors who, in full cap and gown, went to Saguaro Elementary and Casa Grande Middle Schools in their caps and gowns, and they walked the halls and high-fived kids and really just trying to inspire, again, those future kids that are coming our way. And then I have to say a big congratulations to the Casa Grande Union and Vista Grande faculty, staff, and all of our seniors who graduated this past couple of weeks. What an outstanding graduation ceremonies for both classes. It was really nice to see all the people and all the kids. And I think it'll probably go down as the graduation in the record books in Casa Grande for the coolest outdoor graduation ever to exist. I mean, there were people cold leaving the stadium, so it was nice to have that cool weather. So great graduation ceremonies, and just really neat to see our kids go across the stage. And then finally, I wanted to say congratulations to Coach Barrow and the CG Union varsity football team who participated in and won the Arizona Christian University 7-on-7 tournament last month. So they won the outright tournament. So that concludes my report.
Thank you, sir. Moving on to item C, transportation report. How you doing?
Pretty good, how do you guys?
Great.
I'm a PowerPoint junkie, so. Nice, still the tree. Can everybody see okay? With the light on? Well, first of all, I want to thank for the invitation, Dr. Beebe and honorable board members. Thank you so much for allowing me to come here. It's actually my first board meeting really sitting down and presenting, so a little nervous, but we'll get through this. My name is Freddie Jimmy Chavez. I'm the general manager for Durham School Services here in Casa Grande. We provide transportation for the high school here in Casa Grande, Arizona. I've been working with Durham since 2016. Started with them in July of 2016 as a dispatcher, worked for them as a dispatcher for 6 months, and then was transferred to Tucson and be general manager for our company that we do in Tucson for Catalina Foothills High School there. And then last year ran both facilities, and then here this year because they got a GM funding over there, so I don't have to drive no more. So yes. Just a little, right there what I gave you. That's just a copy of the contract that was signed and executed back in 2016. Some of the questions that Gina gave me, that some of the board members asked, I know they were in a contract and stuff, and kind of wondered, like, does everybody have the contract? If you don't, now you do.
Yeah, pretty.
So I provided that with you. So just a little bit about Durham. Durham, what we want to do is we want to basically keep you asleep at night instead of awake at night thinking about transportation, okay? My background is like 17 years with public services in a garbage company in Phoenix. And one thing that we used to tell our customers is that you shouldn't have to worry about your garbage. And as a school district, you shouldn't have to worry about your transportation. That should be our job to do. I wish I could sit here and say that, you know, it goes perfect 100%, but just like anything else, everywhere else, we work with people, things happen, mechanical issues, being a shop mechanic and stuff like that, you know, things happen. But, you know, there's a lot of things that go into busing. The budgets, the buses getting older, routing breakdowns, recruiting, training drivers. In Phoenix and Tucson and basically throughout the U.S., there's a shortage of bus drivers. And a lot of places are having trouble by hiring drivers for the simple fact is, you know, school bus drivers are part-time employees. And so people want to get trained and want to, you know, they want to work in the bus industry, but, you know, sometimes, you know, you got younger people that just can't, you know, they just can't do the part-time thing, so. But here, we're in a unique situation here in Casa Grande. Because here in Casa Grande, we don't have that problem here. Because of where we're at. We're in Casa Grande, Arizona, we're not in Phoenix, we're not in Tucson. We really don't have the competition that the other cities do in the other part of the nation as well. So we're in a unique situation where we get people that are knocking on our doors without me advertising. We want to work, we want to work, we want to work. So how do we do that? For one thing is that what we do in our company is that we want to employ the safest drivers. We train. Our training program is like no other. We do what we call the LLC, which is another knockoff of the Smith system. I used to be a certified Smith system instructor, which we teach defensive driving. And if we can get our drivers, and even in the public, to drive safely, defensively, doing what they're supposed to be doing, then guess what? We can reduce the risk, right? You can never get rid of an accident, but you can reduce the risk. Unmatched safety programs, like I said, we train every month, every year. We got startup coming in on July 29th. I invite you to come out if you want to see that. I'll send an invite, just let me get your information. It's a 6.5-hour class where we bring our drivers in, our monitors in, and basically just, you know, we train them everything. You know, right-hand turns, left-hand turns, following distance, student management, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Durham is one of the leading transportation facilities in the U.S. It was founded in 1917. There's over 100,000 students daily that we transport, serving 33,000 states, more than 20,000 employees, partnering with over 400 plus school districts, with more than 15,000 vehicles in our fleet nationwide. Durham is just part of a bigger company, which is National Express. Peterman, Smith, a bunch of other companies in Canada, London, England, that's where our main corporate office is. So it's a big company, there's a lot of resources here. One thing that Durham really pushes is safety, is number one. In my book, that's the number one thing is safety, because one thing that I want is I want all my drivers to go home safely, but I also want the kids and the parents and the public to be safe while they're out there, while our buses are out there. One thing we do with our buses is that we have state-of-the-art technology there where a Durham bus tracker, you'll see a little flyer in there in your pamphlet there. The bus tracker, Mr. Griffith, is put it on the website, so parents now can download this app, and you can put it on your smartphone, and you can see, they put in the student ID number in there, and you can see where the bus is live. If there's any messages that need to come forth for you guys, like for the parents to say, hey, you know, our bus is running late, I'll tell you something, there's nothing worse than getting like 50 phone calls in 5 minutes, trying to find out where your bus is. Well, in Tucson, when I implemented this over there, that number has gone way down, people calling in. Why? Because they have the bus tracker. And so now the parents, you know, if they're informed, you know, hey, okay, the bus is 5 minutes late. They can see where the bus is, okay? So a little bit at rest, a little bit able to plan more, instead of wondering what, when, where, why. Reporting data, We have what we call Zonar. All our buses are equipped with GPS units in there. Our pre-trips and post-trips are all done electronically through the Zonar system. So everything is logged in. We can see where our driver's at. We can see how fast they're going. We can see if the doors open and close at a certain stop. I can look at stuff from last year and see where a bus took a path and stuff, which is really helpful. There's been times when parents have called and said, you know what, you missed our student. When my kid didn't get picked up, you were late. I said, okay, the first thing I asked him is, do you have an email address? And they're like, yeah. I said, can I have it? So they'll give me their email address, and then I'll go on my system, and I'll ping it. Let me see if I can show you a picture real quick. So I'll ping it. And so what this does is, see I put open door right here? So everywhere this bus opened this door today, this was this morning, so right here at Copper Buttes, at 7:19 a.m., that driver stopped there and opened and closed the door. And so that way I can send this to the parents and say this is where the bus went. One thing our company offers, we do this in Catalina but not here, is what we call Z-Pass. The Z-Pass is where the kids, it's an ID for the kid where they can swipe in the bus when they get in. It geofences, it geostamps it, so we can go in the system, that's where the kid got on. That's where the student got on. Or this is what time the student got off the bus. There's a lot of different things that our company offers. Obviously, it costs them. What we did on our buses is we put what we call drive cam. Drive cam is a camera that sits in front of the driver, up here, ways out of the way, and it's looking straight at the driver, but it's also looking what the driver is seeing. And so what this device does is, if it's a recordable event that, you know, it works off the G-forces, if you have to slam the brakes, turn abruptly, it saves it. And so once it gets into the yard, it downloads via Wi-Fi. It goes into a database, it goes into a third-party company that we hired. They look through it, they look at it, see if it's something that we need to see. If it's something that we need to see and coach the drivers on, they send it to us. We can then get the driver, review it, sit down with the driver. It's a positive thing, it's a positive reinforcement for them to say, hey, let's just sit down, look, what do you see? They look at it, okay, I see what I got, my hand was on the steering wheel, I was too busy looking over there, too busy, so it's the coaching. You know, we can coach them on it. So we sit there, make it positive. Sometimes they think it's positive, sometimes they don't. You know, again, you work with people sometimes. So and so once we sit there and reinforce safety habits, then they walk away a better driver. They walk away a better driver, they go, and then obviously, you know, it's to the point now where the drivers are coming in, and they're, before I even see the event, it's the same day, like, Jimmy, I need to talk to you. I'm like, well, what's going on? They look at this look on their face, like, well, I kind of hit my brakes harder because the light turned yellow and I didn't want to go through the light. Okay, you told me. But they're coming to me, so they're being proactive now. So those events have gone dramatically down, which means that we have safer drivers out there, right? And so this is part of our package that we offer here with Durham. Our goal is to provide exceptional customer service, especially to you and your stakeholders, customer service training. We have awareness programs, annual training that we do with the drivers. We do send out annual surveys to Dr. Beebe and I believe it's Gina. They get them, and I think you send it out to the principals this year, right? And so they send it out. Again, we ask that you be 100%, you know, honest with it. If we're good, thank you, and if we're not, tell me. Tell me, so that way I can make it better. Because if I don't know, how can I make it better? Bus report, this is new. Now, bus report is a result of, I don't know if you remember, in Chattanooga, Tennessee in 2017, there was a driver, it was a Durham driver, that went off a route, didn't follow the route plan, was going too fast around a corner, 25 miles an hour, was going too fast around that corner, and he flipped the bus and 6 kids died. Okay, he's in prison right now for that. But again, the federal government came in, OSHA came in, everybody came in, transportation came in, seeing what was going on. And what they found out, and that's what I like about this company, is what they found out is that they found out that the dispatcher had information on the driver that didn't communicate that to a supervisor, but the supervisor had other information about the driver that didn't communicate that. So everybody had this, had their incidences or whatever with this one employee, but nobody ever collaborated together. And so what our company did is says we need to put that to rest right now. And so what they did is they have what they call bus report. Bus report here, you have a flyer in there as well. This is on the website as well. And so this is available for the teachers, it's available for the principals, it's available for the parents, it's available for the students, it's available for anybody. They can go on, do their complaint or compliment, log it in there, immediately it comes straight to me. When it comes to me, this database that it's in, I investigate it, they get an email right away saying that I'm checking it, phone call, if they prefer a phone call. What it does, it holds everybody accountable. Corporate office has access to this, they're looking at this. And so when we put names on it, it keeps a track of everybody that goes through this. If it's a good thing, if it's a bad thing, if it's a parent complaining about the driver being too fast and stuff like that, we investigate, we download things. This is really, really a wonderful tool here, so, and it's for everybody. One thing about our company is that we're very, very transparent. Very transparent, so anytime you guys want to come in and, you know, if you want to look at, say, hey, how do we do things, come on in. Dr. Beebe agrees. He gives you permission. I'm kidding. So, again, going back to Durham, I believe that we're the best trained drivers of all school bus drivers because of the safety that we put into it. Safety is number one. I had to deal with a death in the garbage industry where a driver decided not to do a lockout tagout procedure like he was supposed to on the garbage route, and the result was he's dead. I had the unsatisfaction of having to go talk to his wife and his kids and tell them, hey, your husband's not coming home today, right? And so it's not a good feeling. It's not a good feeling at all. So on my book, safety is number one. If there's any issues with the employees, you know, anything that we can do, be proactive. If you have any ideas, feel free to filter those down, and, you know, anything we can do to help. National Express University, this is for all of our staff, our dispatchers, our maintenance techs, safety training supervisors, myself. We go through training all the time. It's all web-based, and, you know, we have to go through things. I'm sure you guys do that here. Go through it, listen to it, read it, learn it, take a test, pass it, get certified. Well, we do this every year. Every year, once a year, our company pulls all those GMs, pulls us out. We go to a place, and then we go through training. Training. You can never stop. Your students, I mean, your presentation was, I mean, I was like, wow. I didn't even know you had that program that existed. So, you know, I was all like, man, I want to give. Yeah.
No taste.
Yeah. So, how do we attract drivers? One of the questions was, how come that we say we're 132% consistently, and compared to the routes, and how do we, one of the questions I think I said was, how do we reduce that number so it doesn't impact the district? How many employees we have doesn't impact the district at all. Okay, that's Durham's time right there. Because what we believe is that with our model program is that, you know, if we keep the drivers busy, they stay. We have 47 drivers right now, 14 monitors, 2 techs, 2 dispatchers, and then S training supervisor, and then myself as a GM. What I found out here is that, you know, if we keep our employees busy working, which we do outside work as well, that doesn't affect the district at all, okay? We have buses that we have brought in for charter work, and those buses do charter work only. You have your buses for the home to school, those are all home to school. The fueling never gets messed up in there because Mr. Mace, each bus has its own key that goes with the keys that goes to if they need fuel. Our charter buses don't ever do home to school, they do the charters, and they have fuel cards. Okay, and then what we do with that is also with the fuel, I think what we do, I think what $2.42 per gallon is what we reimburse every month of whatever they deliver. So whatever fuel is brought in, we pay for it after, because you guys get the discount, and so because you're a school, and then we just reimburse you for it. so whatever the amount is. And so, but again, if there's any questions, because I know that, I don't wanna beat a dead horse here, but I know that, I guess I heard from the previous company that there was a lot of this mumbo jumbo stuff going around and stuff like that, especially with the fuel. So again, if you guys ever wanna come in and look at that, I mean, I have everything, you know, you wanna see what we did and all that kind of stuff, like I said, we're very transparent, so. We wanna be, partners with you in the city. We wanna do what's right. If that makes sense. Community, we're involved in the community. Our company throughout the U.S., involved in Special Olympics, Adopt a School, Stop the Bus. Our staff is active in the local community. Recently, I just joined the Kiwanis, and so that's very interesting. But, you know, again, my other job is also, I'm a full-time pastor as well, so I'm a senior pastor, I'm a lead pastor of a church that just started out here in Casa Grande. And so, you know, it's all about connecting, it's all about, you know, helping out one another, and, you know, the Kiwanis is that way for me because we can help out the kids and stuff like that, so really like it a lot. So, any questions?
Yeah, Jimmy, you spend a lot of time emphasizing safety. And just like we have police officers that don't think the speed limits apply to them, have you had a high rate of bus drivers that had to be let go because of that?
Some drivers do, okay? Some of them come in because, especially if they have already experience, they come in, especially if it's over the road drivers or garbage truck drivers. Okay, garbage truck drivers are notorious for speeding, because I was one, okay? And so when they come in, they have a culture, they have a way that they already do things. We have to basically take all that away and say, hey, this is what we're gonna do. There's one thing about Zonar though. Zonar, we get speed reports every day. Right now, if they go 10 miles an hour over the speed limit, it's flagged, they're in my office. And they have to explain why. I go into Google Maps, I even take pictures of the license, of the speed limit. They'll tell me, oh, that speed limit's not there, so I'll go on Google Maps, and you know, you can get the level view, and I'll go right where they're at, and I'll see the speed limit sign here. This is what it is. So we've reduced our speed limits, speeding, 47%. So, do they some speed? Yes, but now they're already accustomed because now we have to bring them in every day. Now, with that report, there's also a report that we do that, because again, we want to be positive partners with the school district here, is there's some employees, sometimes they want to milk the clock. They want to take extra time after they've already done their full trip, talking and lollygagging and stuff like that, sweeping the bus real slow. You know, you gotta get every grain of sand and stuff like that, and just wait a minute, you know, because according to the contract, this is costing you money. And so what I do every day is I do a report. And so when the driver gets into his area to do his post trip, he has 10 minutes. They call in, they have 10 minutes to get from there to go clock out. Because again, if they go, it's costing you money. And so my job is to take care of your money, right?
And so the program we're using is Zonar, is that what you call it?
That's for the, yes, Zonar.
And so you can basically you're making everybody accountable.
Yes.
And so that's, no, I have a buddy that has a landscape company, and he figured out how many people go from the house to,
Yep.
I mean, but once they know that there's a method of being accountable, they become very good accountable.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, see, our Zonar works with our Compass program. Our Compass program is what we use to pay the driver and also to bill the district. It's all in one. So a driver has a Zonar card, they swipe in the morning, time starts. They go do their pre-trip, go do their route, and then they come in, right? So when they come in, they have to swipe out, billing stops. But we have a threshold in there that we're able to manipulate in there and says, okay, I need, once they call and come into the yard, we geofence the yard. So once the bus enters the yard, they're on the timer. Because the geofence, it starts them on the timer. And so by the time they get done and all that, and they come in, and if it's over 10 minutes, and then I'm flagged.
And also we have bus report now.
Yes.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Any more questions?
One more. Late buses. There was one about late buses, right? Okay, late buses, our company wants us about 95% to be on time. Okay, obviously every school district wants 100%, but again, we have mechanical issues and We have drivers coming in late, or drivers don't show up, so we're trying to scramble and stuff like that. Now, one of the main things that happens with the bus being late this last half of the year has been because of the McKinney Bentos. In the McKinney Bentos, we have to send our bus, like to Maricopa, we send 2 buses because one kid goes to Vista, a couple of them go to Casa Grande, they live in the area. So we have to send 2 buses out there. And so I send those 2 buses out there, they have to travel all the way back to pick up their kids getting out of school, and then they go do the route, because they get dropped off during the route. And that's why that's the main reason for those, but again, it's breakdowns and different reasons, so.
You can't just take one bus and drop them off at 2 places?
Well, that's gonna cost you. It's cheaper this way, believe me. I mean, they'll wait like 10 minutes. But that's something that we have already discussed, and so we're looking for other alternatives than that. So I know that my boss will say that he's gonna look for other alternatives and for that. So I am getting 2 more sped buses though. I'm getting 2 more sped buses from California, the 2016s. For the simple fact is that we have so many sped students that I don't have enough buses for them. So we ordered 2 more buses, so.
Pretty impressive.
Good.
Thank you.
Am I free?
You're free.
All right. Thank you guys so much.
You might want to implement a report deal. Yeah, more things to do on All righty, moving on. Thank you, sir. Item 6, matters are reserved for board action. I guess we're moving on to, we need to move to approve the amendments to the transportation agreement with Durham as presented.
Second.
Discussion?
Yeah, I know we've got a good bus service. Kimmy just gave us all the buses that, and all the safety things and all the, but the amendment calls for a 2.5% increase each year. It's over $30,000 a year. I think that, to me, that's kind of an alarm, I think. I think we need to look at reducing some costs. Anyway, my opinion. I think we got a lot of value for what we're getting.
Yeah.
I know that, if I could,
Yeah.
I know that, well, no longer you have desert winds.
Right.
And so that's a big cut right there, so.
The doesn't win students going back to their home schools, it's been the same for 110,000 a year.
Yeah, so on this amendment, can you give us a little run through on the amendment? Do you see that? Okay. Well, because right now it says number of routes is 24, and number of days per year is 180. Cost per bus per day is $320 to $62. Other than I guess we need a little bit more clarification on the 2.5% increase to 2021.
Do you want to just, Jimmy, do you want to just touch base on the increase?
From my understanding, it was part of the 5-year package, when the RFP went out, and then when Durham came. That's why it has every year there for the 2.5. After that, then I guess it's, everything's negotiable after the 5 years.
Jimmy, when did that 5-year period start?
I started in 2016. This is the 4th year right now. Right you have now is year number 4, and then 20 and 21 will be year 5.
We have 1 more year to
Correct.
fulfill our contract with you.
Yeah, after this year, 1 more year.
Yeah. So is there something that that's a good point, I mean, the 2.5, but it's something that we've been doing for the last 3 years anyway.
Yeah.
So,
We're saying we need to lay the groundwork, start looking to renew the contract in 21 and start with the new package.
so that's something that we could probably do a little bit of a,
I don't think anybody can say we're dissatisfied with Durham.
no, absolutely not,
I
yeah.
think they're doing a great job, and as far as what Jimmy has just told us, I mean, they provide a lot of bang for the bucks. And, you know, the main thing is getting our kids back and forth to school, and keeping the parents happy, which keeps us happy.
Well, number one thing is safety, I mean, that's definitely that, and traceability of what we're doing is those two things, two aspects that we're getting supplied right on, so. Any more discussion?
No.
Mr. Wright?
Yes.
Mr. Lopez?
Yes.
Ms. Hawkins?
Yes.
Mr. Salcido?
Yes. All right, next up is item D. I move to approve the borrowing request as presented for Wells Fargo Bank issues a line of credit as directed by Pinal County Treasurer.
So move. Or you just, so move.
I'll second.
Second.
Any discussion?
Mr. Wright?
Yes.
Mr. Lopez?
Yes.
Ms. Hawkins?
Yes.
Mr. Salcido?
Yes. That's still $1 million. That's right. Just wanted to see that number. All right, moving to item C, policy revision for first reading. I need a move to approve the first reading of revision ASBA policy DIE, audit financial monitoring, and JFAA admissions of resident students, and JFAB admissions of non-resident students, and I should have said it as presented, but, and district policy A, district mission and belief statement.
Make a motion to approve as presented.
Need a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Mr. Wright?
Yes.
Mr. Lopez?
Yes.
Ms. Hawkins?
Yes.
Mr. Salcido?
Yes. All right, moving on to D, superintendent performance pay, a review and discussion of superintendent goals and approvals, performance pay as presented by the board based on achievements of those goals. So, do we need we get a motion to approve this?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Appreciate the work you've done.
Yeah. We're definitely going in the right direction, and we got a lot of positive things coming, and we appreciate it.
Well, and I sincerely appreciate the support I've had from this entire board. It's easy to do your job when you're supported. And so, thank you for, giving me the chance to come in and to at least get the groundwork started. I hope you've been pleased with the work we've done so far, and I cannot wait for year 2 to get started, because we've already got some big plans moving forward for the district for next year.
I'd like to see, in the future that, I think we mentioned this earlier, I don't know that we explicitly set all these goals. I know we talked about them, and we know for sure that they all happen. I mean, I know they all happen. But moving forward, the board, I would hope that the board can get together with 1 or 2 new retreats, and in addition with our evaluation, and kind of refine the goals so that we can say if we're hitting our mark or what we're doing. Figure out a way to gauge it and place those goals and say we want to have this goal of whatever. And I think we can do some work there.
I agree, and that would be my goal, Chuck, is to sit down with you as a board and get your direction on what the goals that are going to get set for this next year. What are we looking to achieve? What are we going to get that some clarification from you as we're setting those goals. So.
No, it's to note that we are doing things that we hadn't done. This is my 5th year on the board, and so we are fine-tuning and making things a little more transparent and more accountable, and so it's good. I mean, so this is a great step in, because I know in the past we did not review bonuses for our the last 4 years of superintendents, this is the first time doing this.
Yeah.
And so it's a good thing that we're doing. So we appreciate all your efforts and hope it's just the beginning.
Well, I think, that, like I told you when you hired me, I'm gonna hold people accountable and I expect to be held accountable.
Perfect. So,
Mr. Wright?
Yes.
Mr. Lopez?
Yes.
Ms. Hawkins?
Yes.
And Mr. Salcedo?
yes. All right, moving on to board meeting date changes, we need to review and discussion of superintendent goals, no, sorry. Reading that one. Wait, that thing moved. Move to approve to change the date of July's board meeting from July 2nd to June 25th due to the 4th of July holiday. Need a motion for that?
Can I ask the question?
Sure.
Why are we moving it from July 2nd to June when the 4th is on a Thursday? This is a Tuesday. Is it because there's going to be a conflict with people going on vacation?
Yeah.
There's a couple of reasons, Joe. Number one, we anticipate, 4th of July week is the biggest week for people to take vacation, especially people who work within the district. You know, that's a week that a lot of people take off because you can have more bang for your buck. You can take less time, vacation time, and have a longer time off. The second reason is now that the governor has approved his budget, we now have to approve our budget, and that will take 2 readings that have to both take place before July 15th. So by moving into July 25th, we can talk about that, and then we'll probably still have to have a special meeting around the 9th of July to be able to approve the final budget.
I may not be able to make June 24th.
Okay.
Are we still, we need a motion?
Yes.
So moved. Make a motion.
Second.
All right, discussion? Any Saturday?
Mr. Wright?
Mm.
Mr. Lopez?
Yes.
Ms. Hawkins?
Yes.
And Mr. Salcedo?
Yes. All right, item F, donations. Move to accept the following donations: $500 from IACF International to Vista Grande Band, $2,000 grant from AZ DECA Foundation Board to Vista Grande DECA, $1,000 from Crossroads Church to Casa Grande Special Needs, $200 from Greens Manufacturing to Casa Grande Union High School Robotic Club, $200 from CGI Communication, $300 from Fitzgibbon's Law, and $175 from Vivid Landscaping to Casa Grande Union High School Spirit Line. Thank you very much for your donations to our clubs and organizations. We do appreciate it.
Just a typo on church.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I just saw it.
I thought you were gonna tell me I should pronounce it right.
Make a motion. We approve.
Any motion?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All
Mr. Wright?
Yes.
Mr. Lopez?
Yes.
Ms. Hawkins?
Yes.
Mr. Salcedo?
Yes. Next up is informational report, approved to accept the following board informational reports as presented. Need a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
Mr. Wright?
Yes.
Mr. Lopez?
Yes.
Ms. Hawkins?
Yes.
Mr. Salcedo?
Yes. Next up is item 7, consent agenda. We have items A through G. We need a motion to accept items A through G unless we want to pull them.
I make a motion. We accept consent agenda A through G.
Second.
Any discussion?
Mr. Wright?
Yes.
Mr. Lopez?
Yes.
Ms. Hawkins?
Yes.
Mr. Salcedo?
Yes. Moving right along, informational only items, presentation of Casa Grande Union High School paint color scheme. Tim Mace will present the final color scheme for Casa Grande Union High School. Mr. Mace? try to make it quick, guys. Alright, I can't make any presentation without using this thing just because I think it's pretty cool, but once you do it a few times, it goes pretty quick. So we started off, Dr. Beebe and I went to Sherwin-Williams ourselves, and we looked at a few colors. Before that, we kind of talked through, we want to get a committee together. How do we want to approach this? Choosing the colors of the school was a pretty big decision. We recognized that pretty early on. But we also recognize that the more people you get involved, the more opinions you got. So,
my wife's was the only opinion in my opinion.
Aaron was sure they have a council, a paint council for that marriage.
okay, so we started with, we went to Sherwin-Williams, picked out some colors, put some samples on the wall, tried to look at them when it's in shade, look at them in the light, kind of see what we're working with. And I think there was kind of a consensus that what looked good on our samples probably wasn't the right direction, right? So we did some troubleshooting, trying to figure out what works best together. At that point, I realized I had a resource close to me that would help us at no charge. Her name is Dr. Cooper Lopez. Nicole Cooper Lopez, you guys know Paul Cooper Painting, it's his daughter. She, to get her way through school in California, she was an interior decorator, and she did a lot of cool projects over there. And so I called on her, and she answered the phone, and she was happy to help. She agreed that our first selection study was the most softest, and so she kind of helped us tweak some things around. And once we had some things on the wall that we liked, we did a sample out on the campus. So there's a picture of a door frame. It looks much darker in this room, but yeah. So we did that door frame section there. There's just kind of a sample of what that would be. Here's the two kind of main colors of the campus. The one on the left is more of a top. The other one is called something library pewter. And then we have a picture of them kind of all working together there. That's kind of with some shadow, just to kind of get the perspective there. And then lastly, that's kind of what it looks like when everything is in the same light. So that gives you kind of a look. We also have, some of you may know Robin Abbott. She's coming out Thursday morning. She's a local interior designer that's going to help us choose exactly where to place the colors. I know Mr. Wright has had some questions and concerns, and I don't know if those still exist or if you want to know if anything else, or if this is information only. I don't know if that is either. So.
Any more discussion on this, or?
Well, I guess I'm the only one that doesn't like it. I'm sorry, I don't like the colors because of not the colors themselves, but of the low LRB numbers on them, which is light reflectivity value. They're both they're a 37 and a 17, which means they don't reflect much light at all. On large buildings, reflecting more light means we don't absorb the heat, which means we save a little bit of energy on our building. So the darker brown on the right, I don't know how much we're going to use there, but I just don't like the combination. I've had some people talk to me maybe incorporating the school colors into some of the trim.
Yes, and we talked about that. I did reach out to Lopez and ask her what her thoughts were. She kind of cautioned against using any kind of yellows.
Well, we talked, in a little bit of the yellow goes a long way. I mean, we could use that sparingly, or you could even just rely on the canopies themselves that are out in the commons area, but that blue is really dark. You know, we can lighten it up with the royal blue of our school color, maybe make that work for us. But the other part I'm concerned with is all the structural, all the exterior structural metal stuff above, all the canopies, and how we're going to attack that, how we're going to paint that, and what kind of variation we're going to have on those, and the underlying corrugated canopy roof structure underneath it. If we're going to have some alternating colors to show off the structural components, because they are really kind of neat, but to paint them all the same color, then they all kind of get lost in the whole matrix and stuff. So I mean, we could have some texture going on there to enlighten the whole campus.
My intent there is to lean on Robin. I've seen a lot of stuff she's done around town. She's pretty good, and I'm just going to lean on her to help us make the best choices there.
So is the lighter color automatically more reflective? I mean, obviously, I guess it is, but I mean, is that what you're suggesting, to go lighter?
Well, yes,
Or
yes it is.
color?
I mean, it's not a hard and fast rule because people break it all the time. And they do, we have on this campus at Union, we put in a darker color. And as a design professional myself, I mean, I've done this on commercial buildings, and you know, you do a commercial building, and the darker color makes the building look heavy, makes it look dead, not very vibrant. The lighter colors give it some life, give it some energy, and then you know, colors kind of tell who we are as a school, and kind of there's the vibrancy of them, and how that relationship is with the kids and the people that are in there, and not, you know, color professionals have those abilities to know what colors spur movements of emotion from people in the surroundings. So
I would challenge you to if you see Dr. Cooper Lopez around town, ask her why she chose this, because she had some of these things in mind,
yeah.
For sure. And I really would also like to say, if any of you know her, please extend a thank you to her. She did not charge us. She never even asked about that. She
well, I'd like to see
several conversations I had with her. We didn't just she didn't just give us 3 and it's like, okay, we're done. We did some samples. She came review the samples. We did some mixing and matching, and I really appreciated what she provided for us.
I'd like to see the elevations that you sent me, and go through and highlight the walls and the structures and where we're going to place all these different colors, and especially on the big walls, and kind of vary the 2 base colors that we're going to have, or if we choose to go with another base color to lighten things up and have different panels on it, and then how we're going to alternate the door and window frames. We're going to paint those. I mean,
you want me to get the color pencils out, or what? Like,
huh?
You want me to get the color pencils out and draw on it?
Yeah, I mean, that's what you got to do. I think we've got to know what we need.
Hey, so we stay on track though. So we have to make sure we're looking at. I've heard 2 things. I mean, aesthetics is. I think I'm a big on aesthetics. So I do think presentation. I mean, makes the first 3 seconds on anything is going to define who you are, what you want to do, or what you think of something. And so aesthetics. And so I heard from you is aesthetics is one of them. We want to make it look good. 2 was that we have to have some quality aspects with the which one's more important. So you went from wanting certain color schemes to reflective light value. And so the thing of it is that we have people that, like again, this is a lot of people's different opinions. So what are we looking for? To me, my opinion is that we're looking for aesthetics. And so if we have, because all the stuff that we're doing on this job right here, I'm assuming that we are going to get a warranty of some sort. And so the quality of work we're going to get, no matter what we get, is going to be consistent with whatever color we choose. And then, I guess the efficiency value that we're looking for is if we go with any color of this, I go, what are we gonna lose by efficiency? I mean, so that, I mean, that's where, I don't know, I don't know how much further we wanna make, I know we don't wanna make a committee on choosing colors. I mean, so,
We wanna, go ahead.
Is it settled then, if this is the color scheme?
I mean, you tell me what colors to paint it, we'll get it done. If we gotta stop things, if we're gonna change colors, then we do gotta put the brakes on things.
Yeah.
Is the majority of it lighter color or?
So I'm gonna lean on Robin to help me
Right.
decide what's going on. She's gonna meet me Thursday,
Yeah.
and we'll start marking out, what the plan was though, rather than like doing mock markers and taking the time that it would take to do that, is lean on her expertise, and we'll literally take a can of spray paint. There's 3 colors. Take the can, 1, that wall's number 1. 2, with a really light coat of spray paint, and just boom, and then same thing on the metals. This is getting the blues, which I envision the rails, the doors, and the window frames would all be that accent color. Maybe some of the higher steel would be the pewter, but I'll be curious to see what Robin says.
I'm just going off, you go to any university, and like, the best one around is University of Arizona, you get the good colors, you know, solid colors, and then you have accents of the school colors.
Second list.
That could be argued. But I just pulled up pictures though, I was kind of going off of what the colors that you use. And the thing is like, how do you maintain something? How do you keep the aesthetics of it? And all these different things. And so to keep a neutral base, a pretty common base, in which these are right here, and then accent it with what you want, whether it's red and blue, which is possum colors. And you can make anything look good with those 2 colors. So, anyways, I just throw that out there a little bit. But no, just going to what you were saying though, is looking at the different structures, I just pulled up pictures, and just how, obviously these people do a lot of buildings, painting buildings and whatnot, and how would they go about doing it, and so. Anyway.
Well, I mean, I've got a couple of architect friends who do this for a living all the time, and, you know, how far do you wanna go?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if you wanna have a committee of local people to do it, that's fine.
Is that what you would have liked to have seen happen?
No. I mean, I would have liked to have a design professional get involved.
Dr. Capullo wasn't sufficient.
Huh?
She's not qualified for your book?
Which one are you talking about?
Dr. Nicole Capullo.
Well, she's a psychologist.
During to get through school, she did this as a profession.
Okay, I mean, I'm not gonna debate that.
Wow. You're just saying, wherever she is, whatever her qualifications are, you don't think she chose right?
I don't know. I don't know her. So. I don't know.
Well,
I don't like the color.
well, everything else you guys
I
have
guess
done
that pretty much
met my
solved
standards, so I would take that your judgment would be to our best interest, and I mean, I know we're on a time crunch before, and so, Chuck, I don't know what we wanna do as far as colors and whatnot, if you wanna be on the last, I mean, to me, I think.
We have not bought any paint yet.
Yeah.
Just let me know.
I'll cast my vote against it because I don't like the color.
What would be the process to get, what should we do to just keep switching colors until you get us the green on?
Well, I mean, if I'm, you know, if I'm doing it, I'm gonna go for the LRV values. So I wanna get somebody that can match those colors and have that higher values for our 2 base colors. Okay, so the lighter tan is your 37, the darker brown is your 17.
So it's not the material, it's the color that's the
It's the color itself, yeah.
So
It's
you
the
can't make
color
a
itself.
material that has good
Yeah.
value.
See, each one of those colors has a LRV value on it when you go pick it out from Sherwin-Williams. It has that value, and then when you look at your fan decks and you see it has all those values, and so you can get a higher hue out of that color and raise the LRV value out of it.
So all the black that we have at Vista and things like that, what's the LRV on that?
Well, it's low.
I don't even know what it was.
I mean, that blue, the LRV is 7.
Yeah, so.
But trim is not necessarily one that you, that one you wanna raise that, because trim is kind of an accent color, so.
Right.
But your base color,
So you're talking about the base.
I'm talking about your two bases, which is your brown and your tan.
So if we have a lot of that, or we're.
Have a lot of tan.
So,
If you look at the current, this paint, which is just slightly darker than.
I would say we're darker right now.
You know, the lighter one is a little bit darker, but the taupe is much lighter than what currently is.
All right, so, I mean, you know, I mean, there's no vote, I mean, we appreciate that. I just think it's one of these things that you didn't hire or elect you to pick colors out, I mean, so I expect you guys to have a
Yeah,
clean.
you guys gotta answer questions from the community. It matters greatly to me that you guys, my preference would be that you would all say, I'm behind this.
Well, we want good aesthetics, and we want something that will represent who we are, just like you said. And so those, I mean, a light brown and a dark brown, I mean, to me, it's 6 of one and half a dozen the other.
And, you know,
but-
maybe she can give us,
With the light